Coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.
And good morning, everybody, and to everybody, good morning. It's a wonderful day to be alive. It's a wonderful day to be on this side of the dirt, and you ought to be grateful for that. Granted, things may not be going the way that you planned, the way that you desire, even the way that they should, but at least things are going. And if you're alive to know that things are going, then guess what? You're blessed and you have favor. So do me a favor, invite somebody, share, please. Oh, that's good coffee there. That's good coffee. So I haven't shared this, but I opened a coffee shop for my brother in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I am drinking their coffee this morning. I've been back and forth to Charlotte, opening this coffee shop. And I'm proud of the work that God has blessed my hands to do. We are looking at Houston. We have a building in Houston. And I need you all to pray before I tell you everything that's going to be there. But we're excited about what the Lord is doing. I can tell you this. He qualifies me. There's nothing different about me. The only thing I believe that makes me special are the things that he has given me. I'm an ordinary dude trying to figure it out, have been spending years trying to figure it out, and what he gives me, I run with. And some things are eternal, some things are temporary, but I am listening to his voice, doing what he tells me to do. And as a result of that, of course, it has changed my life. It has changed my life. So I am grateful to be an instrument of his use. I really am. I was literally praying yesterday, just driving, talking to the Lord. And I said to him, I just want to do this for you. I want to do it right for you. And we're on a season, we're in a season of, not a season, a series of grace at Encounter Church. You should really visit us. We're growing strong, I believe. And there's some things this coming week I'm going to clear up when it comes to grace. Because for so long, we've only seen grace as an act of covering. Grace will also expose you. But grace also empowers you and gives you strength to overcome things that had you down, to overcome things that had you bound. So there are many different segues to grace, and we're grateful for that grace. And this morning, we're going to be talking about walking in unfamiliar territory. So I don't have a coffee background. I don't. I dropped out of college. I did. Dropped out. Done with it. We're going to do something else. Went to cosmetology school. I did finish that. But working in a shop just wasn't my forte. Hated it. All them gossiping gals coming in that shop. So that didn't work out for me. Started to cut hair. I enjoy cutting hair. I've been cutting hair since I was about 16 years old. Went and got my, license and stuff, but just decided I didn't want to do that for a living. So, you're going to find that in life, before you get to that main thing, there are a lot of things that you're going to try, you're going to go through, and you don't need to be discouraged when you're trying to figure it out. There's a scripture that says many of the plans of a man's heart, but God directs them. So you're going to have a lot of plans. You're going to have a lot of stuff that you try to do. You're going to be trying to figure it out. So you'll choose to do this thing. You'll choose to do that thing. And it's going to seem as if nothing is working for you. It'll even seem that things are working against you. But you have to settle in your heart. Listen to me, please, that all things are working together for you. I have not succeeded in everything that I put my hand to, but I've always prayed to succeed. Some stuff just didn't work out. It didn't. I've been in business for myself since I was 11. I was cutting yards. Me and two of my cousins, I had my own construction company at 17. So trying some of everything has given me a lot of experience. And this morning we're talking about walking in the unfamiliar. And before we get there, I've got to give you this. There is no blueprint as to what you can do in life. There's no blueprint. There's no true blueprint for success. There are principles that have to be exercised. You can't be lazy and be successful. But there is no certain way. The only way for you to succeed is the way that he's given it to you. I know people who, because I'm a successful businessman, let me go and throw that out there. Very successful. But my success did not come like the textbook. So let me say good morning to everybody that is on. Y'all are the real MVP. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Chanel Bracey. I'm so used to saying Chanel Wells Bracey, but good morning, Chanel. DeJuan McIntyre, Andrea Mitchell, Sammy Kenyatta, Letitia Polite, Roya, what up, sis? And Stephanie Clark. Good morning to all of you. Thank you all for joining. For those of you didn't say anything, but you are on, this is for you. You're the real MVP as well. So there is no real blueprint for success. Rosalind Jones is on this morning, Sunshine 1113. Joanne, God's chosen vessel, and Stephanie Clark, good morning to all of you. So there's no real true recipe for success. Success happens, I believe, based on your path, what you're supposed to do. And nobody can tell you about your path. What happens in life is that we look for something to relate to. We're looking for relatability. Now, we can teach you principles. We can tell you some stuff to stay away from. I can tell you in order to be successful, you're going to have to follow your dreams. You're going to have to walk with fear. I can tell you, too, that if you're going to be successful, that you have to become accustomed to criticism. Michelle Buckley is on. Hey, Jude. What's up, Jude? Y'all give Jude a hand. Jude is my little niece, so it's good to see you, Jude. So I can tell you a lot of things that you need to know to be successful, but I can't tell you how you're going to become successful, because the blueprint is different for everybody. You may have to touch a multiplicity of things before you find that one thing that really opens up the door for you. So when we're talking about walking in the unfamiliar, in order to walk into something new, something you've never done, and be successful in it, you need to understand where you've been. You need to understand that your past prepares you for the present, and it's in your present that gives you the ability to forecast your future. Without past experiences, you're going to think everything's new. But I'm here to tell you this morning, nothing is new under the sun. Everything is a repeat of the same. It's how you see it. It's how you view it. Even if you've never done, I give you, thank you, God. I'm going to give you another example. I've never pastored a church. And do you know I'm crazy enough to obey God to do it? But I've never done it. I've never pastored a church and then trying to develop the culture of a church that I've never seen. Never done it. But let's back up. I've been a minister of music in somebody's church the last 30 years. I've been the worship pastor in somebody's church the last 30 years. So the experience that I gained in the music department, the principles that I've gained there, the principles that I've gained in business, all these principles are the same in this new area that I'm in now. So though it is new to me, it's not really new for me, because I've always been doing it. I've been counseling people, talking to people, helping people my entire life. So you take all of the experiences that you've gained, and it's these experiences, it's in your ability to use the wisdom from these experiences that help shape you, for this unfamiliar place. And the unfamiliar place generally is a place that you've never walked in before. I see people all the time building. You don't build buildings with a building. You build buildings with pieces. The foundation has to be laid. First, the ground has to be cleared and leveled off. Once the ground is cleared and leveled, there are testings that are done in terms of the water level, especially here in Florida. There's a whole lot of things that happen before they pour that foundation. But by the time they pour the foundation, the ground is stern enough to be able to hold the foundation, and the foundation has to be poured, has to be smoothed out, and in the process, once the foundation dry, now you're ready to build. But you build one block at a time. And for where you are going, you have been building. You just don't see it that way. But you have. You've been building. Your mama's been building. Your dad's been building. Your household has been building. There is something familiar about what you're building to you. God's not going to put you in a strange land to do something strange. When you're building, walking into unfamiliar, there is something familiar about what you're doing. There are people who've given up on their dreams because life happened. I want to talk to you this morning as well. So life has happened, and you've adjusted into what I call a state of compromise. You think that it's over for you, maybe because you got married. You think it's over for you because you had a child or you had kids. You think it's over for you because you didn't go to college. You think it's over for you because you did not follow the traditional way of living. Hear me and hear me well. It is not over for you. And it's time for you to execute that dream. And it's time for you to stop procrastinating and using these lame excuses. The reality of why you've given up is you are afraid. Until you confront that fear, you can't move further. You're afraid. Because there are people that are living their dreams and they've gone through worse than you. I'm going to say it again. There are people who are living their dreams and they've gone through worse than you. Let me talk to the single mother who's struggling to take care of your child, and psychologically, you've disconnected. You love the child. Don't get me wrong. You love that baby, but you don't want that baby because the baby has put a demand on you to be more than what you believe you're capable of. Let me tell you where the energy to see about that child, be an adult, and handle your responsibilities. Let me tell you where the energy is going to come from. It's going to come from you living your dream. Did you not know what help us deal with the bad, what help us deal with the sad is being able to have something that we are proud of, that we are happy with? It's the happiness of pleasure that gives us the ability to deal with the passion of pain. You know, I've got some stuff that I'm not happy. I got to deal with stuff. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with it. I don't like it. But on the other side, I'm living the best time of my life. So I talked to you about this yesterday, just yesterday. Boy, I was in a fight. I was fighting myself and I was fighting the devil. I didn't want to get out of the bed because I had to deal with some stuff yesterday that I did not want to face. It just zapped and took my energy away. And I began to say, merciful God, our Father, I thank you in Jesus' name. God, I don't want to do this today. I don't have the energy. I'm tired. I'm being stretched and pulled so many different places. I don't want to deal with this nonsense. God help me. It wasn't until I got out that bed and start putting movement and putting clothes on, and the more I got dressed, got my bag, and got out of here, that grace met me and empowered me to do what I did not want to do, what I did not feel like doing. And there's some fear involved with what I had to do. I've got to get me another chair. This chair keeps going down. It was. I have to fight that fear because this particular thing that I'm dealing with, it's not ordinary. And I believe that my outcome is victorious, but it's almost as if day to day, the enemy tries to find something to remind me of what it is not. So I'm in a constant mode of speaking life to this thing. I'm in a constant area of planning, rethinking, because this thing is plaguing me. It is. I don't like it because it doesn't match what God told me. So you're going to have those days. You're going to have those moments. You're going to have those feelings. Nobody is exempt from it. But you've got to know that just because you are feeling it, your feelings doesn't make it a reality. My reality is I'm already victorious. My reality, I've already come out on top. My reality is that this thing is going to yield to what God told me. That's my reality. But I don't feel that. There have been mornings I woke up with a log in my chest. Mornings I woke up like Fear and anxiety are always there, trying to look for an entrance. And I have to speak his word. I have to speak what I believe. I don't feel it, but I do believe it. And I'm telling you this morning, I'm telling whoever you are, don't you give up on your dreams. Don't you back away from that thing that God brought you to just because it doesn't look like what it should. Because it's when things aren't right that creates a level of brokenness in us that teaches us how to lean on God even further, that teaches us how to pray. It's nothing, I don't think it's anything worse than taking care of kids and the daddy's not involved or the mama's not involved. And I don't know why that keeps coming up in my spirit, my mind, but you who are parenting and you're parenting by yourself and you're having to depend on family and friends, you need to be encouraged. Yes, it's challenging, but you're going to get through this. And the way that you get through it is you got to find that thing that makes you smile. You got to find that thing that makes you happy, and you've got to start building that thing, because that thing is going to give you the joy that is needed to handle the pain. Yeah. Let me give you something else too. You need to know that God is not against you. I read a testimony. Let me see if I can find this thing real quick, because it bothered me and blessed me at the same time. It bothered me and blessed me at the same time. Anyway, the lady sent me a testimony. She visited our church, I think this past week. And she said, wow. She said, I was listening to your teaching. She said, and thank you for being transparent. She said, because it's hard for me to believe in the love of God because I've done so many things that I'm not proud of. That bothers me. That somehow we believe his love is contingent on our actions. His love goes beyond our action because his love existed before we did. And Joanne says, I'm freezing, but I'm looking at my monitor on 3 different platforms. It's not freezing there. Joanne, is probably freezing because you got a Droid phone. Yeah. Get rid of that Droid phone and your phone won't freeze, Joanne. But anyway, it bothers me that people believe that God's love is conditional based on our behavior. L. Jordan Sims, what's up, Taj? Good to see you this morning. His love goes beyond our behavior. She says she got an iPhone. It's probably an iPhone 1 though. Oh Lord. You gotta let that little iPhone update itself, Joanne. You just can't run an iPhone 1. Just go get you another phone. Anyway, God's love is eternal. It's unmeasurable. It is unconditional. He does not love us on condition the way we love people. In other words, we give love to people based on how they treat us. Mm-hmm. based on what they can do for us. We release love to them. And the reality, that is not God. And God is not punishing you because you make the wrong choice. Now, hear me and hear me good. There are consequences for our actions, but the consequences are based on principle. Got nothing to do with God. You know, you violate certain laws, there are consequences. But it's not God judging you or removing his love from you because you decided to do whatever. She say, it is a 7, though. A 7 iPhone is a 1. So you need to believe in the eternal love of God, that God loves you. So it is freezing. I'm so sorry, y'all. Let's see what's going on. I think it's this internet connection. Let me see. It is freezing. My apology. It's not your iPhone 1. Anyway, whenever you're walking in the unfamiliar, you need to know that you're qualified, because in order for you to get to where you are, there's a series of experiences that you've gathered. In those experiences is a level of wisdom. Even though this new area that you're in, it may be new in terms of occupation, it may be new in terms of environment, it may be new in terms of people, but in principle, it does not differ anything that you've done. For instance, somebody was telling me about this a few days ago. Oh, I was in Charlotte. Listen to this. This is good. Listen to this. I was in Charlotte, and a lady came up to me, and she said, "Hey, Mr. Coffee Time." I was at the coffee shop there in Charlotte. She said, "Hey, Mr. Coffee Time." So I just thought she was making a reference to the coffee shop. She said, "I love your show." Oh, do you? She said, "You inspired me to lose weight." I think she said she was so many pounds overweight, maybe 100. And when I did the Love Yourself campaign, you all remember that, was that 2021? Was that last year? It was either 2020, 2021. It was when I picked up that COVID weight, and I was around here looking like a duck. I was so big. That was 2020. So I started a Love Yourself campaign, and I invited other people who were struggling in their weight to come out, walk the bridges with me, run, jog, let's exercise. A lot of y'all didn't show up, and you still got that weight on you. Anyway, she said I inspired her, and she lost weight. And she said, when I saw that you were going to be in Charlotte, she said, I had to find you. It was very unique because I haven't done a coffee time from that particular coffee spot. We've been advertising by word of mouth. We started a marketing campaign this week, today, in fact, to get the word out. For those of you in the Charlotte area, you need to go to Lambert's Coffee Shop so you can see the work of my hands. Yeah. Joanne, she firing back this morning. She said, well, you do have that preaching neck, but that goes with the territory. No, Joanne, I want you to look at my neck real good. Let me move this mic. I actually have a neck. Most of them preachers don't. Jokers be tucked all down in the locks of their shoulders. No, I have a neck. No, we ain't doing that. But I love the brethren. I love the brethren. And I'm not going to let you talk about the brethren, but they do need to lose that weight. So anyway, The lady was telling me about that. She brought it back to my attention. And no sooner than she said that, 2 or 3 other people that were in line at that particular coffee shop said, yeah, I watch your show too. Here's the point that I'm trying to make. You don't know what area of the world you are affecting. You don't know what your gift is doing to other people. But this is why it's so important that you stay in your lane. Now, here it is. I've got all kind of followers in Charlotte, listeners in Charlotte, and I didn't know. The same thing happened when I went to Dallas. I went to Dallas a few years ago, and I met this group of people that follows Coffee Time. When I started Coffee Time, there was no recipe for it. There was nobody else doing this. I started this this internet stuff on SocialCam. And I would pop on SocialCam 30 seconds to a minute and just give inspirational hope and quotes. I did it every morning with my coffee. That's how Coffee Time was birthed. It was birthed from SocialCam. Then when SocialCam, they did some kind of merge with Facebook, where when you post on SocialCam, it automatically went to Facebook. And that's how this got started. But this wasn't in my plan. I just thought I had a great idea. Oh, let me try and inspire people in the morning. I'm an early riser. I love coffee. It made sense to me. I want to encourage people and give them a boost to start their day. I believe how you start a thing determines how you ride. So I wanted to encourage people in the morning. It started on SocialCam, then SocialCam went to Facebook. Then they created this button that allowed you to post videos, but you couldn't do a video on Facebook. So I would record 5 minutes of inspiration, put it on Facebook. Then Periscope came out, and I jumped on Periscope, and I was able to go live. Then I would jump on Facebook, do a video. Hey, make sure you go like my page, Periscope, blah, 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 with this Coffee Time message. Then Facebook say Periscope think they got one on us, but they don't. So then you could go live on Facebook. So we start going live on Facebook and Periscope. SocialCam went away. Here's my point. Here it is now, 10, 11 years later. There was no formula for this for me. I went instinctively with what was in my heart, and I didn't know what I was doing. And now that I look back, I can say that God was guiding my hands. He was. Because who knew that the world was going to internet? We've had church on internet. We listen to teaching, preaching. We listen for messages of hope. We've done everything through the internet. 2020, everything shut down. Internet was our only source of communication, and the whole world jumped online to the point that the internet companies began to crash. Here's my point. If I was following the methodology of others, if I was trying to do what others were doing, there's a window I would have missed. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm telling you, I had no idea. I had no idea I'd still be doing it. But he was preparing me instinctively. So God uses your instinct even when you're not aware. A lot of these choices you think you're making, I don't know why I make that choice. I just did it because I felt like I needed to. It's God guiding your hands and you don't even know it. Here's the thing. Consistency is the key, because there were days I didn't want to do this. I never forget when my little brother, Orion Benjamin Reddick, when he went home to be with the Lord, a bunch of us, we came together to encourage each other. We were our source of strength, and God used the love and the support in other people to strengthen us, to strengthen me. And my brother Fred, Free Derek, Anthony Webster, I never forget, he would come to my house early in the morning when Orion died, because that was a hard time for me. It just I still, if I think about it too long, it has the ability to send me somewhere. I'm healed and whole, but I miss my bro. And Fred would come to my house. Aunt would come to my house early in the morning, like 6, and he say, "Bro, yeah, man, you got to do coffee time." I'm not doing no coffee time. I don't have the headspace. I'm hurting, and I didn't want to do it. But it was his encouragement that caused me to get on, and I began to talk about dealing with the grief, going through the stages of grief. So through every stage of my life, when I started this internet stuff, my brother had died. Freddie had died. Freddie died in February, and we were planning to do a radio show. It was in my heart. We were putting the pieces together. I'm sharing this stuff with you because you when you're traveling through the vicissitudes of life, if you give yourself a reason to not do it, then that becomes your reason and you won't do it. I never gave myself an escape. I was grieving when Freddie died. So much happened in 2012. It just in grief, probably the worst time of my life. And had every reason to quit. Not then, 2012. I'm planning a radio show, y'all. Listen to this. I'm planning a radio show, and my daughter is in the hospital dying, and I miss my baby. I do. She moved to the other side of the world, so y'all pray for Victoria. She left her daddy. I don't like that, but she's grown. She's got to figure it out, so I don't like it, but I do support her. But I miss my baby. She's in the hospital dying, and I'm planning a radio show. Literally, I never forget, the doctors came in to give us the worst news ever. And while they were there, I received a call, and I text the person, "Hey, I'll call you in a sec," because I wanted to finish hearing what the doctors were saying. And they gave us that bad news. They left like they did every day. I did not like her doctors, none of them. She had a couple of nurses that were real sweet, but I did not like her doctors. One day, I did. Because they would come in there with that bad news. They say it in front of her, and doctors are wired different, so they don't have emotion. And it just sounded terrible. And I finally told them, don't come in here and say that stuff in front of her. We're telling her she's going to live and not die. And everything that you say is contrary to that. From now on, before you give a report, you pull me outside. Well, we've been talking to Miss Pickett. You ain't talking to Miss Pickett. You going to talk to me. When I tell you I had to take charge, and granted, her mother and I weren't together, but we were co-parenting. And there was a degree of protection that I believe I had to be even for her mother. Just because I'm living and walking in faith, there was a sensitivity that I had to have. That's that woman's daughter. So I felt I had to protect her. I felt I had to protect my baby girl and my son. And I'm planning a radio show. I am saying all of that to say, if you believe that God is going to guide you, protect you, and cover you, you have no excuse not to keep going. And I don't totally know, I'm being honest, I can't totally tell you where my mind was and why was I still planning, because look When I look back, I should have told them people, it ain't gonna be no radio show. This stuff y'all planning, y'all put that on hold. Let me get through this crisis first. But I didn't. I don't understand why I didn't. Hindsight is 2020. I do believe that there was a level of empowerment, grace that was operating with me, and I wasn't even aware. The strength of God was holding me up. My brother had just died. I mean, Jesus, give me a freaking break. Brother died in February. My daughter had been getting sick off and on. And at his funeral, she had a major nosebleed. And I think her mom had to take her to the doctor at the funeral. I'm not certain. I believe. It's a little vague. But I know she got sick at that funeral. And how in the world? My brother was my best friend. We did everything together. Where he went, he invited me. Where I went, I invited him. We always included each other. Some of you all remember Terry and Freddie and Terry. We used to sing together. Losing him, perplexing. He's got a birthday coming up next month, and I don't know. I would like to be able to say that I was charged with the strength of God, and I would like to be able to quote scriptures and say, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from where cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord who have made the heavens and the earth. But here's the reality. It was unbelievable. It's unbelievable now. Joanne, it's not Jeffrey, it was Freddie. Jeff is still with us, thank the Lord. It was unbelievable that he was not here. And before I could grieve that, wow, my grandfather had just died 4 or 5 months prior. So my grandfather dies, my brother dies, my daughter is sick, and I'm playing in a radio show? It doesn't add up. This is why you have to follow your path. Nothing I did made sense. Looking back on it now, it still doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But I listened to what was in me, and I was going with that. I can't totally tell you what I was thinking, but I stayed on that course. And here's what I'm saying to you. You're going to have every reason in the world to quit. You're going to have every reason in the world to walk away from your dreams and what you believe to be true. God will call you to. Let me tell you where I really believe I have a special grace. I have a special grace for relationships. The wisdom that the Lord has given me for relationships is amazing. But I never forget when he started talking to me about relationships, I was going through a divorce. Doesn't make sense to me. He did. I'd be up writing. Hey, y'all, my aunt just jumped on. I've got to pause and take a parenthetical deviation just for a second. I want y'all to help me love on my aunt. This is her. Her name is Rose Jones. That is my mama's sister. Y'all love on my aunt for me. Say, hey, auntie. Need y'all to say, hey, auntie. That's my Aunt Rose. And I'm asking that you all also pray for our family. Pray for my cousin, Kevin. We believe in God that Kevin is going to be 100% mobile. He will have the use and activity of all his limbs. We call Kevin healed in Jesus' name. And I need you all to be standing in faith and in prayer with me. I'll be in Detroit in about 2 or 3 weeks, trying to get this store, this Charlotte coffee shop is just, there's a lot of work involved. But you all love on my auntie for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, I'm dealing in going through the different changes of life, disappointments in life. And if you give yourself a break, if you say, I'm not going to do it because, then because becomes the stopping place. You got to keep going and move past that, because there is something in you that is designed to help other people. We're supposed to live a life of service that pleases God. But this service is to humanity. And there are a lot of people that have quit in their heart because circumstances and situations have not aligned properly. So they've quit in their heart. They're no longer pursuing the dream that was in their heart. And what you don't know is that dream that is in your heart is coupled with the gift that you have, and your gift is the answer to somebody's problem. And if you don't do the dream, you don't unlock the gift, and the people that you're supposed to be blessing, they don't get to receive the fruit that comes from your labor, because you allowed something to stop you. You can't let a child out of wedlock. You can't let not having a husband. You cannot allow pain, breakup, betrayal. You can't let none of that stuff stop you. You've got to stay on course and do the thing that is in your heart, because I'm telling you, generally speaking, in general, the thing that we call dream is really God's idea that was downloaded to us to help humanity. And he's given us the gift to do the dream, and the gift literally is the tool that God wants to do to make somebody, he wants to use to make somebody else's life better. So you can't allow sadness, dysfunction, sickness. You can't allow any of that stuff to stop you. I want to talk about this last thing. I want to talk about the enemy, the things in us that we say, I cannot do this because there's something in me that's not right, or it doesn't align itself proportionally to qualify to do this. Let's talk about that for a second. So the Lord had been dealing with me about launching this church, and here we go again. In October, I was in the hospital. Doctors basically told me, you don't have this procedure, you're going to die. I didn't have the procedure because I prayed, and I felt in my heart the Lord told me not to have it, and I'm glad I listened. I am. And I believe in receiving doctor's advice. I do. I do what the doctor tells me to do, but this is one thing I had to pray about. So I went from dying in the hospital, and while I was there, it was just me by myself because of COVID guidelines. I never forget the night that it was about 3 a.m. when they gave me this news. And when they left, they said, you've got to make a decision quick, because if the infection gets into your bloodstream, that's it for you. And that's how they said it. I was like, boy, what? They said, that's it for you. Lights out. Oh my God. And I said, I need a minute. I said, give me 10, 15 minutes. I need to think, I need to pray. And I never forget, while I was praying, thinking, am I going to have this procedure or not? I remember fear. I remember being overcome with fear because I wasn't ready to die. I never had fear like this. I don't want to die. I'm like, I got too much life left. I got plans. the coffee shop is doing. I had a lot of stuff going on. And listen to me and listen carefully. Fear rose up in me like a beast. And I began to pray, and I said, God, help me. I know this fear is not of you. I need your help. You know what the Lord told me? Here's what he said to me. He said, it's time for you to do what I told you to do. Well, I had been running from starting that church. I just didn't think I qualified to be nobody pastor. Listen. Yeah, I qualified to be your music pastor. That's music. I love music. It was easy for me. But you want me to be the senior pastor? I don't qualify for that. I'm too confrontational. I don't have a wife. That's a real thing. And I know y'all think I don't have a wife. There's a whole lot come with that. In addition to that, I don't think I should be the one to be the final voice for somebody's life decision. I don't want that. No. The Bible says that he's going to judge the teachers. They're going to be judged worse than anybody else. I don't want that. I don't want that responsibility on me to cover people. I don't think I qualify for that, because I'll check out on you. I will. Y'all, I check out, and when I check out, I can go weeks, months. Has anybody seen Terry? Y'all heard from him? Because I'm a different type of dude, for real. I didn't want it. So I ran from that for years. Now I'm standing on life and death. The doctor's saying I'm going to die if I don't have this procedure. Fear came, and I asked the Lord to help me, and the first thing he says is, will you do what I told you to do? And I want to tell the Lord, now you wait a minute, sir. you get me out of this first, and then we can talk about it. But I never forget, I told the Lord, I made a vow, God, I'll do it. Listen to this. Not even 2 weeks later, I think a week after I got out of the hospital, my uncle died. The following week, I'm on an airplane going to Detroit. My body is not totally been restored. I'm still fighting. I'm on medication. They got me on steroids, and I'm trying to be strong and jovial for my family. I'm clowning, acting the fool. I was sick as a dog, and planning to start a church. If you let something stop you, it will. You've got to do what God called you to do. There is no recipe for it. The only recipe is obey him. You can get wisdom, but there's no recipe. And here's the reality. I didn't think I qualified to be nobody's pastor. The boldness to be the senior pastor wasn't there. In fact, when I started having interest group meetings, it came up. So should we call you pastor? And I told him, no. Don't you call me Terrence. My name Terrence. People were asking me legitimate questions. And no. That confidence didn't come until I started walking in it. Now, I know it's only been two weeks since we had our launch, since we opened. But I'm a whole lot comfortable with being called pastor than I was in that interest group meeting. That interest group, call me T, call me Terrence. Don't call me, but you call me pastor. They say, well, should we call you Elder Pickett? No. But I don't feel that way now. You call me whatever you want. I'm going to do what he's called me to do. And here's my point to you. The confidence that you need to walk in and do the thing that you're called to do generally doesn't come until you start doing it. Once you start doing it, the confidence comes, the fear leaves, and you get better and better at it. Listen, our first service, I was scared. Here's why I was scared. It was like, man, because I walked out there. We started at 1:00. We only do like an hour service. We started at 1 o'clock. In the first service, I walked out there. It was 2 people. It was 10 minutes to 1. I went live. All the people that had promised me, we're going to be there. Listen, I had hundreds of people to tell me, we're going to be there that service. I walked out there. It was 2 people. I was like the children of Israel. Oh, God, you brought me out here to die. Because don't nobody want to talk to no empty place. And I know you confident and bold in what the Lord, I don't care if it's one person. I hear preachers say it all the time. If it was one preacher, I'm going to preach like it's 1,000. Lie. It does bother you. Because the confirmation of what God is doing comes through people. If you're a leader, ain't nobody following you. You're just a man taking a walk. So there should be fruit from what God said. And it wasn't. Well, at 1 o'clock, all of a sudden these people start coming in. I'm like, oof, that was a close call. Well, this past Sunday, it was 12:58. The only person I saw was the girl, my little niece that lead worship. It was just me and her, 12:58. And here we go again. But this is what I decided to do. I told that fear, you're not gonna bother me this time. I'm finna enjoy this praise and worship. That girl opened her mouth and went to sing. The presence of God came in. I started to worship. And by 1:10, the place was halfway full. And people kept coming. Here's my thing. This is what I'm trying to tell you. The enemy will try to use fear to intimidate you to step out of the thing that God's called you to do, because the blessing is in what he said to do. That's what your blessing is. But if he can talk you out of it, you can't receive what God has for you because you're no longer in the place to receive your return. So when it comes to walking into unfamiliar places, believe it or not, you have more than you give yourself credit for. Everything you need is on the inside of you, and the wisdom from past experiences, that wisdom that has been engulfed in past experiences, how you've handled everything, it's there to help you, even though this is an unfamiliar place. You've not done this before. You've not seen these people before. There's a wisdom that is aiding you. The grace of God is going to empower you. You keep going, and he's going to supply everything you need. That's coffee time this morning. Thank you. You were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on inside of you cannot handle. You've got to calm down, slow down. Shh. Be quiet. Don't allow your fears to make you talk out of turn, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speaks, you will always win. You go have a productive day. I love you all. If you need a church home, you can come to Encounter Church, 600 King Street. We meet every Sunday morning at 1 p.m. I would love for you to come be our guest. Come visit us, see what the Lord is doing on this side. I love you all. Have a great day, and always remember to think higher, speak life. Y'all go be productive and do the thing that you are afraid of. There's power in doing it scared. The more you do it, the more he empowers you. Your strength is in your journey. Don't try and copy anybody else or be a carbon copy of anybody else. You have your own grace. Walk in it and be great.
Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.